Welcome to the second installment in my 5-part series, What to Expect When You're Collecting. I created this series to talk about my 5 favorite publishers, Suntup, Centipede, Levidian, Earthling, and SST, and to give people who may not collect these editions some insight into what types of books they publish, what is their shipping like, how long is the pre-order wait, and is the quality worth my money? Since I'm focusing on the 5 publishers I collect, obviously, I think they're worth the money, but in these videos, I can explain why and give you a look at some of my favorite books that I own from these publishers. In this installment, I'll be focusing on Centipede Press. Now, I'm late to the game when it comes to Centipede Press. If you go to the website, it says they've been publishing since 1984. But they didn't really begin in earnest until the 2000s. And what really got them rolling was in 2004, Centipede Press published Salem's Lot. It was the first limited edition, signed limited edition of that work from Stephen King. They were a no-name, nobody publisher at the time. People, when they first came out, thought it was a hoax. Here's this guy collecting money for a pre-order for Stephen King's Salem's Lot, and nobody had ever heard of Centipede Press before, but it was the real deal. It caused some controversy. Stephen King apparently either didn't like the book at first, but he's come around to liking the book. He's always been somebody a little dismissive of limited editions. He just thought it was a vanity trophy thing for some rich person to have. But now I have a whole lot of Stephen King limited editions, so obviously that didn't hold true for very long. I missed out on all that early hubbub. If you own a Salem's Lot, you got something pretty valuable on your hands. Those go for maybe what, $3,000-$4,000 now. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not on the secondary market, so I don't hunt those down. I didn't start collecting limited editions until 2011. And by that time, Salem's Lot was really hard to find. But it did put Centipede Press on my radar. I'd been looking for an opportunity ever since I started collecting to collect from them. And I jumped on it with The Drive-In by Joe Lansdale. And now I am a huge fan. As far as price range, while prices have been going up a lot in these last few years with inflation, and I'm seeing those price creeps across all publishers, Centipede Press usually lands around the $100 mark. They have some editions that sell for $75, $80. They have some that go for $125, $150. But generally speaking, I think when I see that $95 price range on a Centipede Press book, I would say more editions come out at that price than not. That said, they do go into the deluxe arena with some $600 editions. But those are once in a while. They're not that often. People do take note of those, and they're worth every penny. Don't get me wrong. All these books are. But those $600 editions I normally pass on because budgets. Centipede Press selects books to publish that are long out of print, hard to find. They're weird tales, horror, science fiction, pulp. These are all books that are in Centipede Press's wheelhouse. And the man behind Centipede Press, Jared Walters, recently went on the record stating that he had very little interest in doing limited editions of books originally published after 1990. He likes to focus maybe in the 50s, in the 60s, 70s, 80s with authors like Cornell Woolrich, John Blackburn, William Hortzberg. He has dipped into more recent titles, but most of what you can expect from him are older titles. That said, he is doing Geek Love by Catherine Dunn, which was published in 2002, and a lot of people are dying to get that book. But largely, yes, he avoids those later works. Centipede Press editions are largely uniform. Generally speaking, they all have dust jackets and no slipcases. They're almost all bound in this black cloth with foil stamping of the title on the spine and some sort of embossed detail on the front board. Sometimes that stamping is foil stamping on the front board. Really cool details on the spine. Often Jared will do top edge stains on his editions, whether they're red, black, or gold. They're a very easy to read size, really nice. They're not oversized. I'm usually not a fan of oversized editions, although I can appreciate the grandeur of a big old book. But these are great reading size copies. Since the books are so uniform with that black cloth and foil stamped spine, I've seen some collectors just take the dust jackets off and display them all just with the naked books facing out. And that is quite a beautiful thing to see. When Centipede Press releases an edition, they usually only do one edition. They don't do different states of the same book. And their print runs, generally speaking, are 300 to 500 copies. I'm using a lot of words like usually or generally because Centipede Press often does do books with different states, numeral editions or deluxe editions. They also do books that don't have the black cloth and they have printed boards. Their vintage horror series is a great example of that. They also sometimes do slipcases. The Long Walk is their second Stephen King release, which came out last year, and it has this wonderful slipcase to it. It also forgoes the black cloth and uses this gray one instead. Centipede Press does a lot of sets as well. They don't often come out all at the same time, but they batch them out and you'll see a lot of recurring volumes from the same author. You'll also see a series with different authors. For example, I mentioned the Vintage Horror series earlier. But they do it a lot. If Jared likes an author, you'll probably see more of that author. And while they only offer one state normally, they do offer two price points, one for signed and one for unsigned. I love the page design of Centipede Press books. He has an attention to typography and detail that make the reading experience tremendous. The love of the written word, generous margins, beautiful type, just great page design. Combined with the nice 6x9 size of the book, these are editions that are wonderful to collect and even better to read. Buying from Centipede Press is a really informal experience. The best way to buy from them is to subscribe to the newsletter. In order to subscribe to the newsletter, you have to go to the website and find the contact email for Jared Walters. And it's not like it's a form on the site where you click, subscribe me to the newsletter, I want to be on this. You submit your email address and you're all done. No. You have to go to the contact page on the Centipede Press site, find Jared Walters' email address, copy and paste it into your mail program, and then write him an email saying, I'd like to be on your newsletter. And then you won't get a response, but the next Sunday, the newsletter comes out every Sunday, and that next Sunday you should get one. It's kind of you're going on faith there. And then when the newsletter comes out, he'll either have a book for sale with a link that you can only get in the newsletter, or he'll tell you a week ahead of time what's coming the next week. If there's a book he's doing that you want, you have to be subscribed to the newsletter and you have to be looking at your email every Sunday at 10:30 Central Time. Because by the time the newsletter buyers have bought those books, they're usually gone. If there are remaining copies, they will go to the website for everybody to buy. But most business is done through that newsletter. Centipede Press also doesn't do rights. Sometimes Jared will do a pre-order wait list. You'll get on a list if you showed interest in a book or a title previously. He'll give you first dibs. He'll give you an advanced pre-order. But he's stopped doing that. He's not going to do that anymore. But it has happened. Other than that, there are no rights with Centipede Press titles. You're a newsletter subscriber is as inside as you're going to get. It's first come, first serve when the link goes live on a vast majority of titles. He does have subscribers, so if you want to be a subscriber to Centipede Press titles, the requirement is that you buy every single book he publishes. He'll have a number, and that'll be your number. And if you tell Jared, I want to be a subscriber, that means you are responsible. You are informally, again, committing to buying every title he publishes. I don't know what he does if somebody reneges on that promise. I mean, I guess that number goes up for grabs and then he takes on a new subscriber. I don't know. Never did it. I never thought that would be something I would want to do. But I could see the benefit. And there are a number of people that watch my channel that have subscribed. So they get a guaranteed chance to buy every title, no matter how hot it is, but they also have that guaranteed burden of buying every title. So when Dune comes out and it's $600, when Haunting of Hill House comes out and it's $600, they are on the hook. They have to budget around that. I don't know how far in advance they know what the title is going to be, and I know they do get a little bit of a discount because they are giving that guarantee to Jared that they will buy. But it's got to catch them off guard to commit to those titles if they don't even know the prices. Shipping is also equally informal. One thing I absolutely love about Centipede Press that Jared does is he doesn't open ordering for books until the book is in his hands, 9 times out of 10. There are some exceptions like The Long Walk. He took pre-orders for way ahead of time because he knew that'd be an in-demand title and it would cause all kinds of bottlenecking, and he wanted to avoid that. But usually he has the books in hand and then he takes the orders for those books. So right after ordering, shipping commences. There's no long pre-order window wait for you if you collect Centipede Press editions. And when they come, I don't think I always get a shipping notice. You get a receipt, you get an email confirmation when you buy. He'll acknowledge, yes, you've bought the book, here's your address, and then it ships. I know I've gotten shipping notices from Jared. I just don't think I've gotten them for every book I've purchased from Centipede. Again, a pretty informal process he's got going on. And when the books arrive, they are in large boxes. There's an abundance of space between the book and the edge of the box it's in. Huge air pillows are usually inserted into there to keep the book protected from all dangers. Sometimes Jared will put in old dust jackets, discard stuff, just stuff that's kind of cool to look at. It's in there to protect the book. It's not really there to be collectible or preserved, but a lot of people like getting those. It's a lot of fun. I think one time I got a dust jacket for his studies in horror films, Salem's Lot, and it wasn't a dust jacket in really great shape. It was a little beat up, so nothing I felt I needed to keep around. Now to show you some of my favorite Centipede Press books in my collection. First up is the book that breaks all the usualies in the Centipede Press collecting, and that's Dune. This book has a capped slipcase, which is more like a tray case in my opinion. It's way oversized. It's a big chunk and behemoth. It's one of the only ones to come in Mylar protected dust jacket. It has the black cloth because I have the unsigned edition. The signed edition of Dune had a different cloth, a Nabucco cloth, I believe it was called. It had a different tactile experience. But it does have the black cloth, but it's also got this die cut image of the sandworm on the cover. It is absolutely overflowing with art. If you notice, it still has that wonderful page design that I love with Centipede Press books. And the price on this one was $600. But it is worth every penny. This is a marvelous production. It is a book I've never read. And it's one hell of a way to begin reading one of the most treasured science fiction works in my lifetime, at least. Also has that wonderful top edge stain. Just an epic production. Even has these illustrated end papers. The next book is Blindsight by Peter Watts. I bought this as part of a set, Blindsight with Echoproxia, the sequel to Blindsight. And I bought it, pun intended, blind. I didn't know anything about this book, but Jared wrote such a compelling plea or such a compelling pitch for this book that I'm like, this is one I have got to give a try. Because like Paul Suntop, when Jared Walters selects a book to publish, it is worth at least reading, even if you don't collect it or want a fine press edition of it. I do encourage everybody to seek Centipede Press titles out to read them for yourself, because I read this one and I was blown away. This is a marvelous book. I can't even begin to explain it to you, but Peter Watts is a genius. And this book is tremendous. A phenomenal work as related to study of human intelligence. And in a lot of ways, this is the standard Centipede Press edition. There's no slipcase. It has a dust jacket. But it does have cool accents in the stamping on the cloth. This is a book originally published in 2006. So it goes outside Jared's stated scope of not anything after 1990. But this is one of my favorites because of the content of the book. It is a masterful book. I haven't read Echoproxia yet. You would think, since I love Blindsight so much, that would have been a no-brainer to jump right in. But I guess I got no brain. My next favorite Centipede Press book is The Drive-In by Joe Lansdale. This is actually my first Centipede Press title. I bought it off of eBay for a nice price. It was still shrink wrapped. Published by Centipede Press in 2015. This is a book originally published in 2009. This was also my first Joe Lansdale book. And it was a home run. It got me hooked on Centipede Press, and it got me hooked on Joe Lansdale. Because there were no videos like this one out there to inform me of what to expect. I bought this as a leap of faith. That was greatly rewarded. And the last Centipede Press title I want to share with you is The Falling Angel Set by William Hortzberg. This is an exceptional production from Centipede Press. Again, breaking some of those rules with the slipcase. But this is a set. He often does sets, but he doesn't do them all at once. He did Dune, and he's doing Dune Messiah and then The God Emperor and all those subsequent Dune titles, but he's doing them individually. This one he did as a set. He also did Blindsight and Echoproxia as a set, but he didn't put them in a slipcase. So Jared's kind of fast and loose with the way he does things. But what's cool about this set is Jared did Falling Angel a long time ago under the Millipede Press imprint. And if you've never read this book, it's amazing. It became a movie called Angel Heart, starring Robert De Niro, Lisa Bonet, and Mickey Rourke. I love that movie, and when Centipede Press said he was doing this book, I said I had to have it because I wanted to read it. It's a brilliant detective horror novel. But he was also doing Angel's Inferno, which is the sequel to Falling Angel, and had never before been published. So the excitement was high. Everybody was geeked to get this set because this was a hard book to come by on the secondary, and it would be a reissue and something everybody would want. But also because it came with this brand new book. I've read them both, and Falling Angel is a masterpiece, and Angel's Inferno is sort of like if you loved Falling Angel and you just wanted to spend more time with Johnny Favorite, then there you go. That's basically the reason this book is cool is because it extends that story, but unfortunately, unnecessarily so. It doesn't say anything tremendous or new or worth it as a standalone novel. You know what? I'll share one more. Why not? I'll do one more. And that's The Long Walk. As I said before, I missed out on Salem's Lot because I wasn't following Centipede Press. I didn't even know they existed in 2004. But I had been well aware and totally paying close attention to Centipede Press when Jared announced he was going to do The Long Walk. This book was a bloodbath to get because unless you were a subscriber, it was first come, first serve, and everybody had their sights set on this title. The signed edition is not signed by Stephen King, unfortunately. It was well above the Centipede Press $100 mark, and it was signed by Bev Vincent, Jim and Ruth Keegan, and Patrick Lair, who contributed to the book, artists and then the introductory author. It also had a slipcase, and it came with this cool little chapbook, sort of a promo flyer advertising the title. And it only came with the signed one. It also came, most people got this as well. It was just sort of in there. This is a thing that was with Burn Witch Burn, a different Centipede Press title, and it was the thing that went on the cover of the book. I don't know if everybody got one, but I got one. It was cool. I love the end papers in this, the top edge stain, the boards, the art, the wraparound dust jacket. Just a tremendous job. Very hard title to secure. The original price of this book was $260, and then on the secondary market, it was going for over $1,000 immediately. I haven't checked on it in quite some time, but it is a treasured Centipede Press title, one of Stephen King's most beloved Bachman books, and one hell of a score to get if you were able to get it. So that's my video on Centipede Press. I'm sure there's a lot that you might wonder about, a lot of things maybe I didn't get to answer in this video. Leave a comment below. I'll answer it if I can, help direct you to buy from Centipede Press. I'll put links in the description as well. Centipede Press is a great publisher. They do a tremendous job, a lot of love of the written word going on over there. The titles he resurrects are amazing, incredible works that have been long out of print in a lot of cases, and just a lot of fun to read. Thank you for joining me this time. I hope to see you again next time. And in the meantime, stay frosty.